just so toasty! So here we are in the garage. Got my vest in the tank bag here. I used the cable clamp thingy on the pocket there just to give the cable a bit more support so I can't accidentally pull it out of the jacket at any point. And now the challenge is I'm going to repurpose this plug because, I mean, that's all right, but it means I have to put a cigarette lighter in here somewhere, and for a start I don't have one handy. So I'm actually just going to stick a different socket on the end. And what I've actually got for that job is these little beauties, which I've got left over from when I did the headlight swap on the Phaser. They are waterproof, they're pretty sturdy, they're reliable, and they're easy to plug and unplug. So pretty much exactly what I need for this job. Something which can be flapping around in the breeze and not cry too much if it gets a bit damp. I need 2 of the little metal penis jobbies. Got the red bit that I need, got the yellow bit that I need. Also need 2 of these little grommets. And the little grommets go on the cable because that would be getting stuffed up the back end of that. I could solder these if I wanted to get really carried away, but I think pinching them will be enough. A pinch on the other side, a nip there. So that's that one. Same again for the other one. And then they both get stuffed up into there like that. Little grommets get shoved into the holes. Give it a bit of a back and forth. It does actually work its way further inside, see? And then I need to put the red clippy on just to finish the operation. Give it a poke with a little screwdriver. That's in, lovely. So that's the male part done. And for the other end of the connection, I've actually got this USB power supply, which I had installed on the Phaser during the entirety of the European trip. But sadly, it's lost its waterproof cap, so it's kind of a little bit useless. I do plan at some point to install it on this bike under the seat, but at the moment it's surplus to requirement, so I'm actually just going to rob the end off it because I've already got an inline fuse and battery terminal connections, so it's going to be more useful to me in this role than its current role. Expect to see this in the future at some point, but for now, trim back enough cable to get this onto that connector. Strip these wires back. So now we've got our cables trimmed back. Shove them on the wires again. Then we need 2 metal vaginas. Stick one on each cable. Pinch the contact. Pinch the cable. Same again, San Miguel. Shove up the back end like that. Now I could be wrong here, but as far as I'm aware, because I'm going into a heating element, plus and minus doesn't really matter a toss. Shove our grommets into the little holes. Do the old back and forthy trick. Stick on the outer rubber seal, and then you need a red thingy bobby on the end just to make it all look neat and tidy. Just like that. Marvellous. I'll connect this end to the battery, and then when I jump on the bike, clip that in, flick the on switch, and I'm heated. Now that does mean at the moment that this is going to be always live, so I think at some point in the near future I might put a switch in there or actually plug this onto a switched feed instead. But for now, just to see if it works, I'm going to go with it as it is. So for the next step, I need to get underneath the seat. As if by magic, the seat is off. Stick my connections on. Negative terminal first. If I keep on connecting things to this bike, I'm going to end up with a terminal sticking up about this high in the end. Rubber boot back on. Right, cable around the back end of the battery like that. Because I'm actually going to poke it through this hole here. Now I can put a Velcro tie or something on that, I suppose, or even just leave it poked in with a loop that I can grab hold of so that it's in the dry. And then I need to connect up my positive lead. Thread that through there. Right, that's that nice and tight. Stick this rubber boot back on. I just check that I've actually got a fuse in there. Right, yep, 7.5 amp. The heated seat pads were rated at 2.5 amps, so that's plenty enough. Just tuck our cables out of the way. Leave the fuse easily accessible where I can get to it if I need to. So now I'm just going to lay that down on the seat there rather than test it on me. Plug it in and we can see if there's going to be any kind of fire. Right, moment of truth. Pretty unspectacular so far, but let's feel if it gets warm. I just don't want to do this for too long because I'll kill the battery pretty sharpish. You know what, I can feel that warming up. Very slowly, it has to be said, but it is warming up. Yep, it's definitely warming up. But I guess the real test is to get out on the bike and see if it warms up enough under a jacket to really feel if it makes any difference. So let's do that. So here we are out on the road, and I've got to say, my back is toasty warm. This vest thing is bloody brilliant. I mean, it's not super cold today, It was 9 degrees on the thermometer when I stepped out of the flat. I'm not wearing any thermal stuff underneath my trousers. I've just got a t-shirt, a hoodie, and then the fleecy vest, and I am toasty warm. There is heat from the top of my back to the bottom, and it's bloody lovely. Bloody lovely it is. And I mean, it's a pretty simple switch mechanism. It's got off and on, but I can kind of regulate the temperature just by arching my back into the jacket or hollowing my back and moving away from the heat pad. It's really quite cool. I mean, if I could be asked, I could obviously take this switch and wire in something a bit more complicated to get some different steps, but I think at the moment just having a nice cozy warm back is bloody lovely it is. I'm just going to take it for a quick blast on the motorway to get a proper look at how it would perform at high speed with the wind whipping up around me. Right, here we go. See how it performs at warp factor chill. Well, at 60 to 70 kilometers an hour, my back is roasty toasty, so it's a first stage pass. Right, here we are now at 120 kilometers an hour, full motorway speed. Obviously everything is a hell of a lot colder now, but I can still feel the warmth on my back, which I think as soon as I stick a waterproof or just another jumper on this, the whole setup is just going to revolutionise my winter riding. So I'm well happy with this heated waistcoat. That is an absolute win. Alright, my front tyre feels a little bit squashy, so I think I need to put a bit of luft into it. Where's the luftinator? Is there even a luftinator? Seriously? Bloody hell, it's got no end on it. But anyway, while I've stopped, I can just step off the bike. There's the cable there. It's got enough space for me to climb over it to get on and off. I can unplug it nice and easy, bosh. But also, I've made this little beauty so that if I wanted to go onto a bike, say I wanted to borrow a bike, or if I hired something, or if I'm in the car and I'm just a bit cold, I can just plug this into the end of my heated vest. I've got cigarette lighter attachment. Heated vest, absolute score. Really happy with that. So, expect to see a couple of cold weather riding videos from me this winter, folks. So to all of you moto vloggers that have put your bike in the garage for winter already, watch out, because I'm coming for your subscribers. It's me again, hang on, it's not over yet. Quick little update. After riding around a bit longer with the heated vest on, I kind of realised that it kept on getting really hot and then switching itself off, so there must be some kind of a thermal fuse or something in there stopping it from getting too hot. So I thought I'd try and control it a little bit. So if I just pop the seat off here, I've added an extra feature. Just pop round this side so we can see it a little bit better. What I've done is in between the cable, which is still hanging out there in the wind, and the connection to the battery, I've stuck in this little doohickey, which is a Hella blinker relay or indicator relay. And what that does is it actually switches it on and off and on and off and on and off continually. So the vest is only ever on for a second at a time, and then it's off for a second. So essentially it's doing about 50% of the work, which has changed it from a skin searing, flesh boiling, battery raping, magma like heat to a gentle soothing warmth, which is a lot more comfortable, has to be said. It does of course mean that this connection is now pretty useless for any other kind of use, because obviously the electricity coming out of that is going to be switching on and off and on and off continually. So at some point I plan to stick a switch in here, which means I can switch it from a constant 12 volt to this alternating on-off feed that I've now got. Essentially what I've created here is a poor man's pulse width modulation, which basically means that the electricity is only on for a certain amount of the time that the device itself is switched on. I can't take credit for that. I found it on several forums. I can't quite remember exactly which ones. I think it was ADV and a number of other bike ones where people have done similar things using flasher relays to control heated stuff. But it works pretty well. Let me just show you. So I've got the vest here. I'm just gonna connect it up to the bike. And as you see, nothing is happening just yet. But as soon as I flick the switch, that's the blinker relay blinking, basically. And doing that, it's cutting the power every time it clicks. And that means that not so much juice is going into the vest, which has the knock-on effect that it means that it's going to be less strain on the battery, it doesn't cook me in the back, and there's less chance that the vest itself is going to burn itself out. So I'm really pleased with that. As I said, I'm going to wire in a switch at some point, which is going to bypass this flasher relay, which will give me both a high and a medium setting, because obviously when this is bypassed, it'll be full juice through to this. So if I find myself riding in minus 20 degrees centigrade and I desperately need to barbecue my spine, that's a possibility. Also, it'll then give me a usable 12-volt connection to the battery through this plug. So if I wire one of these sockets onto the end of my USB plug, which I already robbed the end off of to make this, then say if I was camping or in a lay-by or something, needed to charge up my batteries on my phone and the sockets at the front there were full up, then I would be able to just pull this out of my bag, plug it into the under the seat plug socket, and then I'd be able to charge my phone, my camera, or both, or 2 cameras, 2 phones even. The sky's the limit, but I can do that while the bike's actually switched off and I'm having a cup of tea in the lay-by. So that's it. That's the DIY heated vest tested, and I'm well impressed with it. It's the day before Christmas Eve. I'm going to be heading back to the UK tomorrow. In the car, unfortunately, not on the bike, but as soon as I get back to Germany, I'm going to be hitting the roads, regardless of the weather, and getting some miles in with this bad boy on my back. Till then, have a great Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll see you in 2016. Take care, folks.